So yesterday, you might have heard that Representative Thomas Massey and Representative Ro Khanna went to the Justice Department, among others, I think, and spent some time looking at the unredacted Epstein files, which the Department of Justice, in violation of the law, is requiring them to do in order to see the unredacted 3 million or so and more that the Justice Department refuses to let go. And of course, just in keep forgetting for a moment what a totally lawless group of people our so-called Justice Department is, we should remember that the reason that the Congress people went there is because they wanted to find out who were the people who may have abused these girls, or I should say certainly did, according to the girls. And we have plenty of evidence that there were people who did, in fact, abuse children. What they found in just 2 hours is six names of prominent people around the world who were, in fact, abusing girls. And you have to wonder, was the Department of Justice this incompetent that they could not uncover what Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey did in just 2 hours? Well, clearly they uncovered it. That's why they redacted it. So it wasn't that they didn't know it existed. It could have been a extreme incompetence, but since most of the people who were abused were young girls under the age of 14, and clearly men are not under the age of 14, not to mention not girls, it should have been a little easier. You might expect a little bit more intelligence from the Department of Justice, but in any event, you have to wonder, though, in just 2 hours, was that a setup? In other words, were there much more important people around the world? Because according to Massey and Khanna, they didn't mention like a current president. They didn't mention people who are in the United States. They mentioned a foreigner, a high head of state elsewhere, etc. You wonder if they weren't just sort of set there so that Khanna and Massey and others could just sort of find them while they were also protecting somebody who was much more prescient and an important and a larger fish, maybe an orange fish or something, that they might be more concerned about. You have to wonder about that. But it also brings up some other things too, right? So I'm constantly being assailed by people who want me to take all of my chat logs and put it on here as if this site is about me exonerating myself. And it really isn't, because I can do all that only to find out that it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get a do-over on my case. I'm not going to get any of that. And it's a challenge because after the police have kicked in my door 3 times now, 3 times over unrelated things or related things, my stuff has been scattered all over the place, and some of it is, in fact, missing, as I've mentioned in my videos, and which my detractors do not want to find out. People who've been watching this steadily have seen this. They've seen what I'm talking about. And if there's any inconsistencies, like I will say, well, I sent this, and then I retract that and say, well, I thought I sent it on this date. Remember, almost 10 years have gone by, and I don't remember everything perfectly. I try to be as updated as I can. But also, when I go and put everything out there, when I put it in a very specific case, when I've easily refuted troll comments, it's not like they come back and apologize. It's not like they say, oh, you're right, that's a plausible explanation or something. No. They have already made up their mind. That's why they came on my site to begin with, to call me names and call me a liar. So nothing I've done has ever been worthwhile. And as I've said, that's part of the troll mentality. Down the street, I have 2 trolls less than 2 miles away who have attacked me, and I've offered to meet with them. I've offered to show them everything. I've offered to show them what I have, even though some things are in safekeeping, because I knew eventually the police were going to come after me when I did this channel and such. And so some CD-ROMs and stuff are no longer in my possession. I can't find my copies. I don't know where they are. I can only assume they were taken. And I've had flash drives and other things taken. And again, there's nothing naughty on there except of me, and I've already been adjudicated. So, and what did they do? They came up with 1 charge, and they've been trying to find things ever since. I get it. The police don't want me to say anything. I totally understand that. But isn't it interesting when you compare the amount of effort coming after people like me, who are average and ordinary people, compared to the wealthiest and the most well-connected? It's pretty appalling that we have been made the poster children for so-called abuse of children, when in fact, nothing of the sort has happened. But certainly it's happened over there. That's why they're working so hard to cover it up, harder in some ways than they are trying to exonerate people who didn't really do anything to begin with. It'd be nice if they put the same effort to protecting our liberties as they do protecting the guilty's liberties.